Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Hometown Historian. It's your girl, Dr. J. Today we travel to Decatur, Georgia. We are going to visit the site that used to house the statue of Thomas Jefferson writing the Declaration of Independence. Are you guys ready? Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Hometown History. It's your girl, Dr. J, and we are in Decatur, Georgia. And with the help of Supernatural Filmworks and 2083 Studios, we will be filming live at the Decatur Courthouse in DeKalb County. According to a 2020 article in the AJC, the obelisk that once stood here was attacked by a group of petitioners who wanted this obelisk removed. And just 500 feet away, even worse, the statue of Thomas Jefferson signing the Declaration of Independence. Beginning in 2018, we saw a slew of racial crimes portrayed against black young men across America. As racial violence continued to rise, groups like Black Lives Matter began to protest for the removal of Confederate memorials. Many of them led with the idea that all men are created equal. Now, there's no doubt amongst historians that Thomas Jefferson's writings, documents, and later ideas will not only shape the organization but also the structure of this nation. The Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution are just two of the living documents that not only challenge societal norms, but have long since put Jefferson at the forefront for controversy. Modern historians have all but been infatuated with this romanticized relationship between he and Sally Hemings, producing a generation of children. More recently, the influx of popular media outlets online, historians, both professional and not, have begun to force a link between Thomas Jefferson and the Illuminati. Now let's get into this research. Even though you may not be familiar with the history of the Illuminati, you should definitely be familiar with its signs and symbols, like the all-seeing eye on the US dollar. Now in this research, I'm going to analyze the writings of Adam Weishaupt and juxtapose those writings with the writings of Thomas Jefferson and John Locke to determine the extent of which Jefferson may have been influenced by the Illuminati. Most historians, both professional and novice, would agree that Jefferson's ideas and documents reflect the writings of enlightened thinker and philosopher John Locke. Locke did propose in his primary documents that the governed should have the consent of the governed. What I'm going to do in this research is juxtapose the writings of John Locke and two treaties of government along with the Declaration of Independence and U.S. Constitution, and then cross-reference those documents with Adam Weishaupt's 21 books produced while he was in exile in Bavaria. Stay along for the ride, you guys. It's going to get interesting. Like conspiracy theorists, my research on the topic starts with Fire in the Minds of Men, a book written by James Billington. James Billington was appointed to the Library of Congress by Ronald Reagan in 1987, where he focused his research on the American Revolution. The scope of his work includes the analysis of men who believed they could remake the world, and it included Thomas Jefferson and Adam Weishaupt, and spans from the French to the American Revolution. In this book, the author challenges the consensus that revolutionary faith was shaped mostly by enlightened ideas of the 17th century, and asserts instead that revolutions were made by men who believed that a perfect secular order would emerge from the forcible overthrow of traditional authorities. Billington, in The Fire on the Minds of Men, discusses the foundations of revolutionary faith in the late 18th and early 19th century, dominance of national revolutionaries of the mid-19th century, and the rise of social revolutionaries in the late 19th century and early 20th century, all of which are directly related to the research. The book gives specifics pertaining to the motives, causes, and events that occurred leading up to the war and leading to Thomas Jefferson's writing of the Declaration of Independence. It considers the external influence on the outcome. So let's just get a little deeper into the details. If you look at the writings of Adam Weishaupt and you compare those to the writings of John Locke, you will easily be able to see that Adam Weishaupt was influenced by the writings of John Locke. Most of the wording used in his 21 books are all reference to the constitutive government and the ideas of overthrowing the government. Let's take a look at this quote from Weishaupt. In another situation, in an active station in life, I should have been keenly occupied, and then the founding order would have never come in my head. What Adam Weishaupt is saying here is that there was a need for a secret society when governments were just not getting the job done. These wild ideas of Adam Weishaupt didn't go unchecked during the 18th century. John Robison writes proof of conspiracy against all religions of government of Europe carried on in secret meetings of Freemasons, Illuminati, and reading societies in 1797. Robinson, who's a Scottish professor of natural philosophy at the University of Edinburgh, was the author of this book. He was a contemporary scholar and the inventor of the siren. He worked closely with important figures like James Watt. This primary source, first published in 1797, was written as a warning to Britain and other monarchical governments that the threat of being overthrown was alive and active during the late 18th century and was based upon the spread of secret societies. Robison tells the story of Adam Weishaupt, who founded the Bavarian Illuminati in 1776, to reveal radical ideas of atheism, anti-monarchy, and proto-feminism, which resemble many of the ideas Thomas Jefferson wrote in our founding documents and also in the Thomas Jefferson Bible. He evaluates the impact of Scottish and English lodges in causing revolutionary action, and further explains that these secret societies were created to conspire against monarchical rule. The book's strength lies in the use of primary documents to show the correlation between Masonic ideas and the revolutions of the 18th and 19th centuries. The weakness of the book, however, is that it's highly cited by conspiracy theorists today. Now that we've heard some connections between the works, the ideas, and the documents of Thomas Jefferson and Adam Weishaupt, let's discuss how Thomas Jefferson becomes a topic for conspiracy theories. In a movement in 1965 known as the Discordia Movement, Greg Hill and Kerry Thornley are going to create chaos. Within an office in Texas, the two drug attorneys are going to come up with a series of conspiracies and put them together in a book called Discordia Principia. To better understand Thomas Jefferson during the time period, his motives for writing the documents, and for establishing our government, we'll look at Samuel Smucker's The Life of Thomas Jefferson, written in 1890. This American historical writer, well-renowned biographer, and pastor presents one of the earliest biographies in 1857 in 400 detail-filled pages. After becoming a member of the Virginia House of Burgesses, historian Samuel Smucker in 1890 reveals in the autobiography that Jefferson became remarkable for his industry, his prominence, and his decisive stand on patriotic matters. Being well-versed in the works of John Locke, well-known English political philosopher, provided Jefferson with philosophical arguments for inalienable rights, natural rights, which are evident in his Notes on Virginia, according to the author. The Notes on Virginia are probably the most important scientific and political book written by an American before 1785. The research will focus on Chapter 4 of this text titled, Mr. Jefferson Elected a Member of Congress. Here the author traces Jefferson's path from the election to Congress and ends with him writing the U.S. Constitution. There is no evidence anywhere in this chapter or in the text that Jefferson had any affiliation with Adam Weishaupt beyond being familiar with his work. Now, there's no dispute among historians that the writings of Thomas Jefferson not only shaped the structure but the organization of our new nation. The Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution are just two of the living documents that continue to shape our society and cause some challenges. Now, Thomas Jefferson has definitely been the source of some controversy. But this time, we're not talking about saddling hymns. So for all you conspiracy theorists out there, I would say take a second look. And if you're really not sure and you still want to connect Adam Weishaupt to Thomas Jefferson, maybe you should go look at some of Weishaupt's work, at least those that have already converted into English, considering the originals are still in French. Have a great day. Well, that's our time for today, you guys. Thanks for coming along with me to the ride to Decatur, Georgia. If you have any information about Thomas Jefferson or you have any questions, make sure you like and subscribe and look for the link in the bottom for more.